Gonna drown you in your own blood. Hold your face down in your own blood now. Hey, welcome to episode 150 of Frenzy Gamer. I'm here with Paul.
Yep.
Hey.
And Blake.
150. We did it, Paul. Did you ever think we'd make it this
was
far?
such a long 150 for me.
Let's think back to those memories throughout the 150
You remember that first episode where Paul was like,
what was that thing you
Textures.
said, Paul, on that on episode 127? What was that?
Something
thing?
talking about the order?
Is that the one about ham?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
it was
sure
definitely that one. It was the ham
one.
cast.
Back when you were a meat eater.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was one of the food episodes.
Is that a highlight of my being a meat eater? Was that ham cast?
Yeah. Oh, I miss Hamcast.
Never ate meat again after that, though.
Yeah, that was
it. Yeah, that was
just
like
that one
the
time.
pinnacle.
Yeah,
like,
I'd finished.
Nothing, yeah.
You
Beaten
capped
it.
out meat. You beat meat.
Yep.
You beat meat
Beat
on the
meat.
podcast. It was
Beat meat.
We all loved it. Okay, so
Awesome.
welcome listeners to this. This is obviously a podcast about video games.
Mhm.
You guys been playing stuff? I sure hope so, because 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
last episode
Last episode.
we said, let's talk about the Stanley Parable.
Well, I've been playing War Tales. Did I tell you? This was that
boy.
early access game.
Oh boy. Okay. Go on, Blake. Go on.
This was that early access
Yeah,
game.
no, I remember. I remember.
It's quite good. I'm enjoying it. It's like I said, it's like a tactical version of Bannerlords.
Uh-huh.
And you have like a little crew, and you kit them out with like
It's
gear.
medieval XCOM.
It's medieval. Yeah, it's medieval XCOM, and you have
Yeah.
the tactical battles and
Yep.
and all this stuff, and like
And how is it?
it's great. I'm really enjoying it. Like you're going from like.
This is not the game we're meant to talk about, but go on.
Well, I figured I should talk about it because I did say I would like play more of it, and
Okay.
but yeah, you're going from like town to town and village to village. You've got this like overview kind of world, like just like Bannerlords,
Yep.
and you see your little troop going around, and like you go into town and you get quests, and the quests are like, oh, go fight these bandits, or like go deliver this to someone in
Yep.
another town, or you can just like roam around and like basically survive, because there is a bit of a survival aspect. You have to
Okay.
keep your party fed and also paid.
Yep.
So you need
Just
you
like Bannerlord.
just like Bannerlord.
Yeah.
So, but you can what I have been doing is like going into the woods, because there's just woods all over the place, and just hunting bandits in there.
Okay.
Like,
I really thought this was about to pivot into clown cast again. Remember when you used to talk about clowns in the woods?
oh yeah.
All right.
That was
anyway.
just hot news at the time.
I remember that.
Yeah. That was just hot, crazy news at the time. Like, nowhere else was talking about it, so I felt like I had to do it.
You're right. Nowhere else was talking about it. That's why you never heard about it. Anyway.
Well, you know, I go searching for these things.
Yeah.
The clowns.
The clown.
Yeah,
In the
I've seen your search history.
Yeah.
Hot
it's a,
clowns
it's a
in
real,
your area.
It's a real circus.
Yes. Oh boy.
But yeah, I've been like just going through the woods, hunting bandits, taking their gear, and then like hunting wolves and pigs and stuff for food.
Okay.
I've been like going around to mines, and like you can go into mines, and like there's little like mini games for mining.
Okay.
Basically, you just hit a thing on the right time, and you get like more.
A rhythm-based mining minigame?
It's more like a timing-based thing. Like there's a circle that gets smaller, and you have to click when it gets within a like radius.
Yep.
And what's cool with that is that like if you miss all of them, you still get like ore. You still get iron ore.
Right.
But if you hit all of them or hit
Iron or
most
what?
of them, iron chunks of ore,
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
or diamonds sometimes.
Or diamonds.
Yeah.
What are ore diamonds?
No, you get iron ore diamonds.
Yeah, what are iron ore diamonds?
What are iron ore diamonds?
They are worth they're worth a lot.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so going around there, there's like it's this survival aspect, which is the thing that I'm actually like quite enjoying, and you have to
Okay,
assign
yeah.
like
you do love a survival game.
you have
don't
you have your like
an
little-
early access survival game. You couldn't resist.
It is funny
Couldn't
that it
resist.
actually turned into an early access survival game, and I didn't expect it to. I got it because I was like, this looks this looks like medieval XCOM, like a bit of a cross between Bannerlords and XCOM.
Yep.
And then there's all this like survival aspect, like your crafting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a whole crafting system.
Yeah.
And there's like crafting tables that you have to craft so that you can craft other things. And you have like a camp that you set up where you're, because you guys will get tired, so you need to camp for the night. And there's like a screen where you've got your like camp all set up with your crafting tables and your like guys sitting there. It's great. I'm really enjoying it. It's like I feel more like a troop of mercenaries just surviving in this world than I did in like Bannerlords.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I think the thing is I liked that vibe in Bannerlords early on where you're like a small crew.
Yeah.
And you are like careful.
Traveling around.
You're traveling around and you're
doing-
careful with what you're like what the combat you're taking on.
Yeah.
Like stuff is still dangerous.
You didn't like when you eventually have like a big army. And you're
I did
conquering
I
castles
did
and
like
stuff?
it, but it just felt like a different game.
But that's part of what I love about that game is that the game evolves organically over time.
I do like it when you have the giant armies, and then when you like sometimes combined with other armies, and then it's just this insanely huge battle.
Yeah.
But there's something I do really enjoy on the lower scale where it feels like, because all my characters have names and you can name them yourselves and stuff like that, and you have like a backstory of when you start the game.
Sure.
So I picked. For my backstory, I picked that I was like a bunch of young farmers looking for adventure. So half my guys start off with like pitchforks.
Okay. You ever think about like what that conversation must have been like? Hey guys, you want to like abandon our farms and just like roam the land killing bandits?
like a
Gary,
bunch
are
of
you
farmers
feeling
would.
okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Well then, and like also that does make sense in that world because there are also roaming. There's the general guard that walks around the roads of this land, right? And you can tell they've got a certain icon that is like, these are like the actual guards. But then there's these roaming bands of farmers who are their icon is like a little pitchfork, and like they'll run up to you, and then you'll get into like a dialogue with them, and they're basically hunting refugees. Who are there's a war happening. There's a war happening in a border kingdom,
boy.
and there's a full-on refugee crisis
bunch
happening.
of racist farmers.
There's a bunch of racist farmers happening, and there's this whole thing like throughout the game.
This is feeling a little real.
No, it's great because throughout the whole game you have these interactions where you basically end up with a choice of siding with the refugees or siding with the locals.
Farmers.
Yeah.
And
like I've done both on like different occasions depending on what the occasion is. Like sometimes there's people who are just like, look, man, just help out these refugees, and they're like, we're absolutely not going to. So you have to fight them. And then other times it's like, well, okay, these refugees have kind of really turned into like actual criminals here.
Okay. Yeah,
like
sure.
this is an actual problem here.
Yeah.
Like so it and like this whole thing just like, and there's you gain reputation with either of these kind of
all I'm
like,
hearing is
factions
that
because
you
of
might
it.
be a racist farmer.
I might be. But also, everyone looks the same race, so I can't tell. I don't know. I actually cannot tell who is a refugee and who isn't because everybody actually just looks
Hey,
like
man.
a
Isn't
white
that the
farmer.
like typical racist thing to say?
That's kind of my
As the
point.
defense?
Look, man, I don't
I'm
see
not
colors.
racist. Yeah, exactly.
What you're saying is it's a parable, a Stanley Parable.
It does sound like a Stanley Parable.
Okay. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about.
All right.
Paul. Have you been playing anything other than the Stanley Parable?
I played a bit more Revita,
Okay.
but I haven't played a lot in the last.
I had to look
couple
into
weeks.
it. I don't know that I'm gonna get it. It looks fun, but I have limited gaming hours at this point.
It is a pretty specific kind of game.
Yeah.
It's very much for me.
Yeah. I did say on there for Paul.
Yep.
On the store. All right, so let's do it.
Have you been playing anything other than Stanley Parable?
I bought Vampire Survivors.
Oh, right.
And I
That
played-
game we all struggled to remember the name of like a couple podcasts ago.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So I bought that.
Is it good? People are raving about it.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
someone describes it as like the auto bomber build the video game, which is accurate. So yeah.
Someone told me there was a character in that has only 1 health point.
Yep.
But if you get them to like level 99, they get like 10 million health points or something.
It's like 63,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's an integer. Like a program. It's like squared a bunch of times, whatever it is. Maximum unsigned int for 8-bit or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The character's name is Toasty. And you can only get him if you kill what is meant to be an unkillable boss.
Yeah.
Through like one of two means, and then press down and enter at the same time.
Oh my
he
God.
Pops up on the corner of the screen.
What?
And says, Panini.
He says Toasty.
He says Panini.
No, I get it.
I didn't know that you could actually build that, kill that end boss.
That's not even the boss I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah, you're talking about Red Death.
Yeah.
You can kill Red Death. There's multiple ways to do it, and you can unlock Red Death if you kill him.
Huh.
It's basically, this is a game that is like built around old school secret ideas. Like, there's a character called Missing No.
Really?
Which
whoa.
I think he used to be what you would get when you killed Red Death, but now you get Red Death, and instead to get Missing No, you have to like alter a save file or something.
Yeah. Wow. Is Missing No that scrambled looking block? Wow, really?
He's a scrambled looking version of Red Death now.
Oh, okay. Damn, that's cool. I didn't know this. I thought it was just a straight up Vampire Survivors. Like I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I played it. I played it and like beat it. Got to the part where you die a few times, and then I stopped playing it because I was like, there's not much more to do.
Yeah, I didn't know it had all this like crazy.
There's
secrets.
a bunch of secret stuff.
Wow.
They keep adding more characters. There's a dog that farts flowers.
Nice. What's that a reference to?
There's speculation that it's a reference to what was that game called? It was a GameCube game where you play Amaterasu, the sun god in Japanese mythology.
Yeah.
What's that game called?
I don't know. The
I
only
don't
dog
think
in a
I've
game
played
I can think of is a dog in Duck Hunt.
That's the only dog in a video game you can think of.
Yep, I've never seen another dog in a video game.
You know, I'm not gonna fact check that. It sounds right.
Hey man, you name 5 dogs you've seen in a video game.
Do you really want me?
I
feel like I probably
bet you
could.
can't, and I bet Duck Hunt is probably the
I
first
feel
one.
like
Duck Hunt dog. Shit.
You know what though? I'm probably gonna struggle to actually come up with names. Anyway, Stanley Parable.
Yep.
That was the game we all were meant to play. Did we all do our homework?
Wait,
I did play.
I did. Yep.
Okay, how much homework did we actually do, Blake?
Oh man, you called me up. So we talked before the podcast about this, and it turned out that everyone has played the game much more to actual completion, right? Like if you guys have both gone through the extra content and all that.
I haven't done everything.
Right.
I've done nowhere near everything, but I did
Yeah.
a bunch of the new stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, but I got about halfway. Maybe not halfway. I don't know if it's halfway through. I feel like I only just got started in the extra content.
Yeah, you did.
But it's fine if you can spoil it.
We're gonna
for me.
spoil stuff.
Yeah.
So if you haven't played Stanley Parable, and you don't want things spoiled,
See you next week.
just keep listening because we need those stats.
Oh yeah.
Just turn the volume way down. No.
Yeah, just leave us running and put your phone down or walk away from the computer.
Just hit that like and subscribe button.
Yep.
Download the copy from YouTube.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Um,
Distribute it to your friends.
Yeah,
Then
put
you
it
don't get
on
the stats
floppy
as
Oh
disk.
wait,
someone
no,
else
don't do that.
Get your friends to also download it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about which endings we've done. Blake, you've done the least.
Okay, so I'll tell you the first ending I did.
Yes.
I did pretty much the opposite of everything the narrator asked me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So other than like leaving the room,
He says go left and you go right.
and and he says go through the red door. I went through the blue door, and I kept doing it. And then he started getting angry at me.
Red door, blue door.
Yeah, there was a red door, blue door.
Okay, so
situation.
You jumped off of the elevator.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
where I went. Yeah. So I went.
I love that you
So-
can do that.
Yeah. So you get to this part where there's like an elevator that goes across across a
Warehouse.
to the other side.
Mhm.
And as I was going across, the narrator's talking.
This was
to
your
me.
first?
This was the first playthrough.
I did that the first time as well.
That was your wow.
Yeah.
I did not even consider that you could jump off of there until
Well,
in.
the thing is, I saw where it was going. I saw, there's an open door at that end, and then I realized there was a platform below
Yeah.
and another open door, and I was like, I'm gonna go this way. So I just jumped down there.
Yep.
The sign there was a sign that also said something like before that I thought was funny, where it said like no, standing on the platform you'll be fined a certain amount of money. Jumping from the platform you'd be fined a certain amount of money. And then there's a sign that says jumping from the platform equals death or something like that. Like you die if you jumped off the platform,
Yeah.
but they're still gonna fine you for it as well. So I thought, so that's that. Seeing that sign made me even consider jumping off the platform. And then I saw there's another like walkway below, so I went through there, and I went through the went through these red or blue doors, and I kept just doing the opposite over and over of what the narrator's saying. And then he got more and more angry, and then he just started like saying, well, what do you want? You want more choice? You want this? You want that? And like he just basically like started putting me into other games.
Yep.
So I ended up in Firewatch.
Yep. Oh, so in the original version, I don't remember what the two games were.
Neither do I, but it really threw me that there were two different games.
this time. So in the original version, I think one of them might have been like Half-Life.
Ah.
I think they had to be Source Engine games, if I recall.
Well, there was so in the extra content.
Maybe.
When you're going through this hall of memories, right?
Yeah.
There's photos on there.
Yeah.
And I saw photos of what looked like Portal.
Maybe Portal.
And I,
that sounds right.
and I was like, maybe that was one of the games that he would have put me in.
Yeah.
But I got to the Rocket League one, and then I kicked the ball into the goal, and then the ball went down this hole, and then I jumped down the hole as well.
Yeah.
Did you?
I did that as well.
It's so funny because like doing that makes me feel like, oh, I've discovered something, but like it's just part of the game. It's
all
like
part
it's
of the
all
game.
part of the game, but I feel like I've discovered a secret here.
That's really at the crux of what makes this game brilliant.
Yeah.
Is they predict what a player wants to do.
Yeah.
And make them feel like they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And then build a story around.
Yeah.
that. And it's very clever.
Yeah.
And I believe, at least for the history of the Stanley Parable was it was originally a mod.
Right.
A mod possibly of like Half-Life 2. It was just someone the creator originally made it in like Source.
Yeah.
The area you fall into from the
Yep.
Rocket League area
Yep.
is the original game. Like you fall into,
really?
you fall into like the original files. And,
Oh wow.
and, like,
yeah.
it's all kind of shitty looking.
Yeah.
Um,
It definitely looked like a behind the scenes. It had that Portal vibe where you go behind the facade and
Yes.
it's all
Yeah.
like
But-
yeah.
So it's like a rundown. It's like a broken version of the original version. Like,
Mm.
it's not. It's pieces of the original game,
Yeah.
using those art assets. Then they re-released it on Steam as an actual game.
Yeah.
And added that in as an ending,
Ah, cool.
as well as a couple other endings. And I remember them discuss. I remember reading somewhere or hearing somewhere. Basically, he had been watching how people were playing the game
Mm.
and would find things that people were doing, and then build endings around.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Um,
really cool.
And so that's that. I thought that was a really clever way of doing
Mm.
it. Like if you're making a game that is about choice and like the illusion of choice
Mm.
and getting players to play through it, finding the things they're trying to do,
Mm.
and then making that a thing they can do
Yeah. That's so great.
with story
right?
consequences is very clever.
That's such a great way to develop something
Yes.
instead of just trying to
Trying
think.
to do it in isolation.
Yeah.
So that was your first playthrough.
That was my first playthrough. Yeah, and I ended up
that would really mess with expectations, I think.
yeah, and then I that's when I sent you a screenshot of the
baby game.
the baby game.
Yep.
Which so he says like, oh, to really get he's so sarcastic and like you can tell he's just so annoyed. It's great. I really love like annoying the narrator is like
narrator.
the best part of that game.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, to really like like really get to grips with this game, you have to play it for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And it's a game where there's a cardboard baby heading towards a fire, and you have to press a button to stop it.
Yeah, but you don't stop it; it just resets the position.
Yeah, and it
there's
just
no
keeps...
delay whatsoever about where it's moving. So you have like 3 to 5 seconds to actually stop it from.
Oh, really? Because I wondered, because he's like, play this for 4 hours. I was like, if you play this for 4 hours,
I bet there's an ending. I bet there's you played the baby.
And
is
it firm? There is an ending.
Yeah.
Is it 4 real hours?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Not only that, you can't even necessarily bot it very easily.
Yeah.
So, like, in theory, you could just stand there mashing one button.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you could like put on an auto clicker, and then it would just be fine. But at the 2-hour mark, they introduced a second button.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's brilliant.
And there is an ending. I've looked it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't remember because I was not going to spend 4 hours.
I was thinking, like, is it 4 real hours or is it in-game hours where it's like, an hour, in some games an hour is a minute?
It's 4 real hours.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So there is an ending there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a new version of that ending for the
That's intense.
current game. I don't think there is.
That seems like one of those charity stream type situations where you just like, I'm going to do this for 4 hours.
Desert Bus for Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there was that. Something else I was going to say. Oh, there was another part that where I can't remember exactly, but he was getting annoyed with me and like made Stanley think that it was all a dream or something, and like he'd gone home to his wife. But it was just like a mannequin. Yeah, and then he starts going on about like, look at you, you're just there pressing buttons. I tell you to press a button, and you press a button, and these buttons come up, and you press them. And then he's like, he's like, look at this, and he says, Stanley, do not press this button. And the button comes up for you to press. I sat there for ages not pressing it, and nothing happened. And I was like, how long do you have to sit there? Because there must be a time. There must be something that happens when you don't press that button for long enough. There must be.
So there was also the bit where the skip text bit, right?
Yeah.
Where you get the option to it's fine to go into the spoilers.
Yeah, this is in the DLC section where
the skip button.
Yeah, so where they've added a skip button because people complained that their dialogue went on.
Yes.
I sat there listening to the same like voice lines repeat 3 times, but it just repeats the text.
Yeah,
so I don't know if
I don't think
always
that one
is.
Yeah.
Right.
So the skip button, I don't think there's a secret ending there. I think you are required to skip.
Yeah.
And I also think for the press button one, you are required to press
Right, because I sat there I felt like 5 minutes.
Really
and I was
funny.
like, do I walk away from my computer? But if I walk away from my computer, I might miss something, So
there was definitely parts where
trapped.
I walked away.
I felt... maybe that was the feeling that they were trying to get you to...
Yes,
I
you
felt
have to press the
trapped.
button.
Yeah, and I was like, I guess I have to press the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, that skip one as well. I did hear the dialogue loop, and that's when I realized, okay, skip. Yeah. But yeah, it is fun to just like let him ramble, because there's a point where I'm like, oh, he's not stopping. He's just going. He's just going on for ages and ages.
And they really milk that in points, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's some of the parts where like I did literally like get up from my computer and went away for a little bit to come back to finish the thing that was going on.
Man, yeah, it's great. I know there is an ending that I haven't done if you just stay in that room at the start. But I don't remember how long. You have to stay in there for what? How long?
All you have to do is close the door.
Oh, I didn't know you could close the door.
So you, exactly. You
you
can just close the door, and then it's a new ending.
Yeah.
There are lots of other endings. Do you want to hear about some of them? I don't know if you looked up a guide or anything.
No, I
didn't
just
look up a guide. So what?
found what I found.
What was your first ending?
The one where you do the opposite of everything he says.
Oh, so you got the same as me, man. What was your first ending?
My very first ending, I obeyed him.
Yeah.
Because I thought this is, I know what I can do.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I should do to set a baseline.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand what you mean when you said like it sets up an expectation, because that is the craziest ending, and if that's the first one, it's pretty nuts.
I'm trying to think about this. There's some other crazy ones.
That one is the one where
That's some very crazy ones.
I had to send you screenshots because I was like, this is this is nuts.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this.
Yeah,
On my first playthrough, I was like, what the hell has happened? I'm in Firewatch now. What the hell?
The pivoting to different games is fantastic. I love it. I love that he puts a bunch of walls up in Firewatch.
Yeah, I love. He's like, "What's that? An open world? Oh
we
no,
can't have that.
I saved you from that open world. All that endless choice."
I think that's really clever. The fact that it was Firewatch, which is the only other game I think we'd ever all discussed
it was.
in unison on this podcast. I thought that was lovely. So there's, that is a fantastic ending.
Yeah.
There are some other really, really good ones.
Well, you want to talk about the first one, the first ending you did, right, where you basically escape the facility? Is that
Yep.
So there's a point in. So I did that quite a way after, but there's a point in that where you get to basically the final room and you have two buttons.
Yep.
To
very simple choice.
What
yes
is it?
or no?
Just yes or no, basically.
Basically, like disable or enable.
Yeah. So I enabled it, right? And then he gets all mad at me, and he starts a countdown to like nuke the facility. And on my way in, I had seen a bunch of buttons with numbers on.
Yes.
And I'd walked around this whole room and been like, "This is a puzzle.
Yeah.
This is gamer brain happening here, where you're like, there's a puzzle. I'm going to have to do these in a sequence." And I could see a 1, a 2, a 3, and they were all around the space. And the 3 was locked behind a gate. And then when the countdown starts, that gate opens, and I was like, "Here we go. This is it." And I went around pressing these buttons. Nothing happened. And I was like, "Okay, let me try that again." I tried it again, kept trying it. And then he's like, "Look at you, running around, pressing buttons like you think it's going to do something." And I was like, "Oh my God, he got me."
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I missed that entirely.
It was great. It was just like, because you run through this, it's very dark, and there's like these glowing buttons that all have numbers on. And right before that final room, there's one that has a 5 on. And I was like, "Wait a minute, what is this?" And you can click it and it does nothing. But then I walked around the room and I saw others, and it was the thing of like one was locked behind a gate that then unlocked. That really just drove me into like, I've figured this out. Like,
I'm trying to remember. I feel like there is a combination that works. I don't fully remember.
I mean, if there was, I was just trying to do it in order 1, 2, 3.
So do you want to hear about some of the endings from the base game you may not have seen yet?
Yep.
Okay. So, it's been a really long time since I've done some of these. But if you are going carefully through the office the first time, you might see that there's a computer that says like input required.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. So you can interact with that computer. And
really?
It puts a little pip on the screen.
Yeah, but how do you do anything else?
Well, if you play again in that same session, that interaction appears somewhere else.
Oh.
Yeah, but that pip remains.
Huh.
And you can do that, I think, 5 times, and you unlock another ending.
Whoa.
Here's another one. In that very first room, there's like you're walking through the office, there's like these blinding white light windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fern in between?
You can walk up the desk in that first room and go through that window and leave the building.
What? What? Oh my God.
Yep. Then there's if you go to you're making your way through the office and you go to the boss's room.
Yeah.
There's like you go in there and you input the code and all this stuff. If you bail out of the boss's room as the door is closing. Which you can do. You get locked out of that room.
Yeah.
But then you can go all the way back to like the start.
Yeah.
And because all of the doors there that close behind you start opening again. And there's a secret room right next to where you start.
Whoa.
With another ending there.
Oh, wow.
There's
in that boss's room, before that boss's room, there's an elevator.
Yes.
It does nothing. I stood in that elevator went in that elevator, pressed the button, and it's like it starts going, and music starts playing.
In the boss's room?
No, in the before the boss's room. But in that boss's room, like section, because you walk in there, and there's like the executive toilet on one end.
Yep.
And then you go down the corridor a bit, and there's like the boss's room, but then In the opposite direction, I think, of the boss's room, there's like a little hallway, and there's an elevator there. And you can call the elevator, and then you can hop in it, and you can press up or down, and the elevator starts. Elevator music starts playing, and then you're in there for ages. The doors don't open.
Why?
The doors don't open by themselves, and I press the button again, and they just open, and I'm just still on the same floor.
This vaguely rings a bell. I need to look into that.
I was just like, what is that?
Okay, yeah. I'll have to look into that.
It goes through the whole motions of making you think that the elevator is like moving, and it seems like nothing is happening.
I wonder if that's related to a different ending.
I don't know.
There's have you done the one where you do the opposite of what he says, except you ride the like elevator to the next floor, and then there's there's a phone, and the phone's ringing, and you answer the phone. You know that one?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one where you end up
like your mannequin wife,
with
right?
your mannequin wife. Yeah.
Have you tried disconnecting the phone?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get either of those.
Yep. These are all quite subtle ones where it's like you have to do something. It's very outside the box, right?
Yeah.
So the phone is plugged into the wall.
Yeah, I did see the phone was plugged into a wall.
Yeah.
And
then you can just pull the cord out.
Oh, that is interesting.
And you get another ending.
That's cool.
There's like a little path in that warehouse section. Like there's a stack of boxes you can walk up, and then you can like drop down onto like a little path thing.
Oh.
And behind that path, if you turn around, there's like an open vent, and you can crawl into the open vent.
Oh, right, because the thing is, there's a duck in this game, which I did not use until the actual DLC, where a vent opens up in front of me, and I ducked down and I can walk through a vent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You can
Under the
duck.
DLC, the new content,
Yes,
I mean, yeah.
yes.
I also got an achievement that you can't jump because
Yep.
I cannot play that game without tapping spacebar. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, really? Have you just been tapping it?
yeah, I just keep trying to jump over things.
And did it
you
get
just
an achievement?
You get an achievement. You can't jump.
Yep.
That's why I thought it was. Yeah, that's the thing. Was like, if I see a stack of boxes, normally in a game I'd try to jump,
Yeah.
but like because I know in this game I can't, I wouldn't even try to like get up there.
Hang on. You guys are saying you can't jump, but you can.
You can.
You mean in the new content?
Yeah.
Yeah, the jumping circle.
You only get
That's
like
so great.
29 jumps.
But you jump. Yeah,
I
you
do
go.
like that it's like new content.
New content, jumping circle.
You can jump,
Yes.
and only in the circle.
Yeah,
though.
only in the circle.
You know, I jumped 28. I jumped enough that I only had one left the first time I found it. And then you find the circle again later.
Yeah.
And I jumped in it again and ran out of jumps. And then I was like, oh, that's what that was about.
Yep. You haven't found it yet. Again,
No,
have you?
No, I thought there was just one
Yeah,
jump
so-
circle.
You're on the brink of some very good new content.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really love. Again, spoilers.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sorry everybody. The section following the section you're in, you go through the whole new content thing, and you basically you go to a game show.
Oh, cool.
Like an E3 style thing.
Yeah.
Where they are showing off all the new features of the Stanley Parable
Yep.
DLC, and it's just fantastic. If you've ever, I mean, as someone we've all worked in the game industry for many years,
Mhm.
I've been to those sorts of trade shows a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And it is fantastically real.
Wow.
It-
Those trade shows, have you like you went a few years back as for PoE, but like
Yeah.
you were
I was also a games journalist.
yeah, I was going to ask,
back in
did
the
you
day.
did you go as a games journalist as well?
Yep, I went to E3 a couple times.
Wow.
I went to
Which
GDC
side
a
of
bunch
that
times.
is more fun?
That's a good question. Neither.
Just the whole thing is misery.
Actually,
Does anybody have fun at that then?
No.
The people at home watching, I think.
Yeah. So, as a games journalist, actually, it's probably more fun as a developer, I think.
Yeah.
As a games journalist, you are on your feet
Mm.
pretty much all day, every day, going to different meetings.
Yep.
Just taking notes, and then the trade show ends, like the day ends,
Mm.
and then you spend all night writing.
Ugh, yeah.
Like literally up until like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Ugh.
Yep.
And then because you're putting out the articles from all the meetings you've just been to.
Yeah, and it's got to be quick
Yeah,
because it's breaking
quick.
news. You don't want to be behind.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And then you do the same thing for the next day, and you're doing that basically all week.
Yep.
And there's also parties.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
these publishers and game developers all have parties, and you're invited to a lot of them.
Mm.
And you want to go
Yeah.
because fun parties, free food and booze, and I'm a poor game journalist. But like realistically, you're not going to
Yeah, because you have a job.
many,
too,
if
right?
any, because you've got to be writing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much a nightmare week. No one in the journalism industry really likes E3 for that reason,
Wow.
I think. The first time you go is pretty cool,
Mm.
but it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
As a game developer, at least on when I went as to represent PoE, I spent all day every day on the show floor.
Mm.
But I was like one spot, and I was basically
Yeah.
demoing Path of Exile. To
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who were curious about it, and like, it was fun. It was cool meeting people who had never played it before and were keen to try it. And
Which one did you go for PoE?
we were launching on console. We were launching on Xbox.
Yeah, you guys were in the Microsoft booth, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it was before that, but in the lead up to that, we basically had a spot in the Microsoft booth.
2018ish.
Don't remember the year. But the good thing about that was like after that was over, I didn't have to go write articles for the next 6 hours. Like
you were free.
it was exhausting, and I was losing my voice every day because I was like yelling, and there were swarms of people, and I'm pretty sure I got sick.
Yeah.
Like almost immediately because of swarms of people. But yeah, I would prefer that I think over doing the journalism thing again.
Yeah.
And I got to go to parties. I'm pretty sure I went to.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm pretty sure I went to the Microsoft party. I don't remember if I went to any others.
Yeah. What are their parties like?
It's a mix of like journalists and developers and like business people. Like you got a lot of like directors and CEOs and executives running around trying to make deals with each other.
Yeah.
Because this is like the one time a year where they're kind of, at least for the North American, like there's a few trade shows where just a lot of business people get together and make deals.
Mm-hmm.
And E3 is one of them.
Right.
And then they have a lot of parties where they schmooze.
Yep.
So there's a lot of schmoozing, there's a lot of booze, a lot of snacks, a lot of money being thrown around.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, pretty much that's it. If you've been to like a Christmas party, think about it like what a Christmas party is, but then like
well, I was
20
thinking,
of them all over the city at once.
right? Because I was thinking of I've been, we've all been to the NZ GDC.
Yeah.
You've been to have you been to real GDC in America?
Yep, 3 of them I think.
Okay, yeah, because my closest experience of that then is the big developer party at the end of NZ GDC.
Yeah,
and it's just,
similar vibe.
Yeah.
But then imagine like there's also a bunch of people in suits.
Because I mean there was definitely some deals trying to be made. I remember getting cornered by someone who was trying to sell me Unreal Engine and being like, "Oh,
that'll never
just
take off.
Just give me 5 minutes with Crystal Jonathan, and I can talk to them about thing." And I'm like, "Man, I'm not the guy to be talking to about this. Like, why are you talking to me?"
Yeah. So it's very very similar.
Yeah.
So that Anyway, there's in Stanley Parable, one of those, like at least the trade show aspect.
Yeah.
And within that, I'm gonna again spoiling things. Within that, there's a bunch of features that they're talking about, and like a bunch of theoretical features.
Oh yeah.
And a couple of them actually do manifest in the game.
Oh yeah.
So one of them is collectibles.
All right.
The collectibles were great.
Yeah, I've still got one to collect.
You got one to collect.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
And maybe there's a bunch more ones I collect.
They're definitely like
I'm
more
definitely
than
at
one.
like 18 out of 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
They definitely got more
I'm
collectibles.
stoked. I'm stoked. That's wonderful to know. Then there's the bucket of reassurance. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And so basically, like
the bucket's a great feature.
the bucket is so good.
Yeah.
The bucket of reassurance is there to help you with your existential dread. You carry it and you feel much better.
Oh wow. That's
and
great.
what this does is very clever.
Yeah.
Because what this does is they place it in a hallway, like 2 or 3 rooms after you start.
Yeah.
And you can pick it up and carry it with you, or you can put it back down. And then almost every ending in the game is now changed while you're carrying the bucket.
Whoa.
Because it's like Stanley was feeling anxious as he went down the hall. Now it becomes like Stanley was anxious while he went down the hall, but the bucket reassured him. The bucket. The lovely bucket. Everybody loves the bucket. And
oh my god, that's so great. It's so good.
So it's a really clever way to mostly using narration, put a new spin on old content, but then also some of those endings are vastly different as a result of the bucket. So The bucket is really clever. A little one single mechanic
Wow.
that they use to extrapolate on a bunch of content. And
Wow.
It's very, very good.
Yeah, I like the bucket.
I like the bucket too. There's still a bunch of endings I need to go back through with the bucket. I'm stoked to do it.
Have you? So you've read guides and stuff. Do you know how many endings there actually are?
I used to. I don't know the exact number now. I know they added some new base endings as well.
Oh.
Like they've got all of like the bucket style ones. And they've got like new
Yeah.
content endings, but then they also have like, I think, in the, if you go down like the normal path, like the follow the instructions, there comes a point where like you go down an elevator, and you can get off the elevator, and then you can go, if you're quick, you can go back up the elevator. And there's a new ending. And I have no idea what that ending is.
Oh wow!
But there is one. So, there's just like a bunch of new little endings, and then there's also like a bucket version of that. I think so. Like,
yeah,
there are some like bucket free doors though. You can't take.
There's at least one.
Yeah.
The red and blue one.
Yeah,
but that leads to a new ending.
True.
What's the ending where he is really having an existential crisis and thinks he's dreaming and he's just going through the same few rooms over and over?
That's where you follow the direction until instead of going up to the boss's room, you go down to the basement.
Yeah.
And then he loses his mind and then he dies.
Yeah.
So you do that. If you do that one with a bucket, you get it's functionally the same ending, except the narration's different. And then when you die, the shot of the woman who's staring down at your body, she's carrying a bucket, so she's fine.
So she's just fine. She doesn't have any.
She's like, this would really traumatize me if I didn't have this bucket. That kind of thing. Like,
so good.
It's fantastic. What a great game. There's so much more to talk about. I think. You guys have like anything you want to say specific about it?
I like the well a lot.
The well.
At the expo, there's the infinite well.
Oh, yes. I remember, I don't know, maybe there's stuff I didn't interact with there.
You should hang out. You should check out the infinite well more.
I don't even know if I can get back there.
Oh.
I'll have to figure that out. Maybe I can. But I jumped down it, and then I was put back up. I guess I could probably have jumped down it again.
I did that several times.
Okay. And there's different...
There was a lot there. Like, you don't actually get put back out. It gives you an option to go back out.
Yes.
You don't have to take that option.
Okay.
And there's just a lot of just weird shit that happens in that well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I kind of want to go into some of it, but
please do.
This is the spoiler cast.
This is the spoiler cast. I'm an idiot for not staying in the well. I should have just fallen for hours, but I didn't.
Just, like,
I'm a child.
To just falling through this well.
Look, you just fall for 4 hours. You
and
can walk away from your PC.
It starts adding features that will change like the camera angle. So you can look from further out down at him falling in the well.
Oh my god.
And then there's 2 other options that just start messing like with the lighting. It'll have like different it plays music as well. You can just
amazing.
go through the different kinds of music. And over time, eventually I think you have to go out of it. But then if you jump back in, the well will be shorter. And he starts going on about how like it's really not an infinite well and it's now less infinite than it was before. And it just keeps going until the well's just like this tiny little thing.
Oh, what?
But when you jump in the tiny little thing, it's only like, I don't know, it's probably like 10 centimeters down.
Yeah.
But you've got no jump.
Oh,
so
right.
you can't
You
get
get
back out. And you end up stuck just standing there. That was the part where I walked away for a while because
Yeah, does the
the
narrator...
narrator leaves. He's like, okay, clearly you like this well too much. Enjoy
Amazing.
it kind of thing. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. And
You
then
know,
what
like
do you do?
I can't do anything now. So
Yeah.
I ended up
How do you get
going
out of
away
it?
for a bit. Options appeared, but like after it had really punished me for my
Oh my god.
enjoyment of this well.
Yeah. This, I will say something.
Yes.
So things like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember your criticism about Dark Souls and
I've been
becoming
thinking
an
this
egg?
as well.
Yes, of course.
I mean, there's some similarities between like sitting there for ages, like until something happens.
Pretending to
Very,
be
very
engaged.
different kinds of game.
Sure.
And I would argue this is a game about that sort of interaction. It is a game about a player making a choice
Yeah.
and the consequences of that choice, and then believing that there won't be any consequences.
Okay, so what
Whereas-
about in the carry on? Sorry.
And then there's no advancement I'm getting locked out of here.
Sure, but there's this temptation to like maybe I don't do anything for like I don't know an hour and then I'll get some other ending.
But
you don't know if that's going to happen or not.
That's true. Yeah.
Exactly like becoming an egg. You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, it's true. You don't know what's going to happen.
And you say locked out of content. I mean, you're locked out of a possible observing a possible ending.
I guess, but I don't miss out on levels or gear.
You miss out on an experience.
And it's true. I miss out on an experience, not experience. You know, it's maybe I'm being unfair to the whole.
I think you should play Dark Souls through the lens of Stanley Parable, and you'll probably have a much better time.
Maybe
so are you saying that Dark Souls is the Dark Stanley Parable?
Yeah. Yes,
which is really the Dark Zelda.
Dark Souls is the Stanley Parable of action games.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
it's just
you gotta bang on a wall 50 times, and maybe it'll open.
The thing is, like, Stanley Parable is making fun of all of those things, and Dark Souls plays it straight. That's sort of, I guess, my point.
Yeah.
But that the vampire game that you're talking about as well has all the same sorts of you've got to modify a save file.
Yeah. And it's pretty stupid. Like those sorts of things I haven't got Toasty, for example. I just know you can get it.
Yeah.
I haven't got that those things exist.
I do as well. It's really a question of like how much content is locked away like that, I guess. And like I don't know. There's something to be said about missing out on something because the developer thought they were being like too clever. You know, I don't know. I'm on the fence. There's some things. There's a point at which that becomes obnoxious.
Yeah, that's fair.
You feel like it's just a thing where you feel it becomes obnoxious because somebody could say Stanley Parable is obnoxious in that way, but like you are saying,
the Stanley Parable is obnoxious.
Yeah,
but it's intentionally.
It's intentionally obnoxious. It's
and
a very
they milk that.
The point of the Stanley Parable is like, look how obnoxious games can be.
Yeah,
like.
But like Dark Souls is doing it straight up.
Exactly. Dark Souls is like, you have to be an egg now. Hit this wall 50 times. Like, I get why people like that, but I also get like why. If you found out a year later that you didn't hit the wall, so you missed out on a whole area of the game or whatever, you'd be like, oh, that's pretty dumb.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm finding out like several months later that there was a whole area of that vampire game that I just didn't know existed.
Really? Which area?
Well, no, just that you can start doing more stuff after killing the boss because...
Yes. Yes.
I really thought that I'd achieved about as much as you could.
So yes, that game also has like a whole menu of unlocks, and you can see exactly what you haven't done yet.
Oh,
and some of those things aren't on that menu, which I find a little silly. Okay,
I missed that. I saw that there was different things you could upgrade over time.
Yes, but there's also a thing of like, play this character to level 99 and beat this level. And,
I missed that.
Evolve this weapon, and you get stuff for doing all of those things.
Yep.
And so the secret characters like Red Death and Toasty and whatnot. Like there's a character. This is one that I really don't like.
Yeah.
You have a 1 in 63,000 whatever chance when you collect a clover on the ground of unlocking this character.
Oh god.
Or you can type a specific series of letters and dashes.
Really?
Yeah.
How would you know? How would you know that?
Right? Does that annoy you, Blade?
That does annoy me.
Okay, why?
But that's something that you would absolutely. That's at least in Dark Souls, become an egg. It gives you a prompt.
Okay, yeah.
Like, at least it says become an egg, and then.
Well, this particular thing is a reference to another game which has a similar secret.
Okay.
So.
Well, is Vampire Survivors just like you just try to recreate as many codes from other games
in some ways
you can you try to input the Konami code somewhere and then like something will happen
maybe
like those famous kind of
if you're playing the farting dog
you
can type PET like pet the dog
and
he gains health
but
he only works once per run but
cool
so there's all sorts of silly things like that and those things. I look. I'm not against secrets.
Yeah.
I'm not like secrets are dumb.
Yeah.
What I'm against is locking significant portions of the game
Yeah.
behind a secret.
But if your experience with the game is like not at all lessened for missing out on that, does it matter?
That's a fair question. It really depends on the personality, I think.
I suppose.
Because if
the completest
ignorance is bliss, right? If you
Yeah.
don't know, it exists.
like it has no impact. Like, the Dark Souls painted world, I don't think you have. It's just like a random side area. That there are many random side areas in the game, but like you could easily just miss. You could easily miss other side areas, but
Yep.
like that one just happens to be really easily missable because you have to do a load of bullshit to like get to it.
Look, there's lots of things like this throughout games.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy IX had a thing where you had to get to the end area of the game in under, I think it's like 8 hours or something like that,
Yeah.
to get the best weapon in the game for one of the characters.
Oh wow.
And the only way you do that is by skipping content.
Yeah.
And you don't even know this is a thing that can happen.
Yeah.
And there's like things where you have to specifically not open certain chests.
Mm.
And like items in chests are replaced if you don't open this chest. So
Hmm.
you have to know that you don't open this chest to get this item.
Yeah.
And these things are.
Yeah,
I
that
think
is
these
too
are.
far. That is far too far, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, these are stupid. But if you want to play optimally, you have to have all this silly insight.
I guess it's just I mean, the completionist and the person who wants to min max and play the best and have the best gear, is probably going to be hurt by this rather than me, who is like much more casual. And if I miss a bunch of areas and it has no impact on my actual enjoyment of the game, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, there's a difference, I think, between an Easter egg and like content that is annoying to find.
Yeah.
Also exclusive, like having something exclusive gated behind a secret that is also the best thing seems really awful because you might play a bunch of the game, then you're sort of done most of what you want to do. You want to max your character out, and you finally go start looking at things.
Yep. You
and
literally
find out
can't
that
do it.
ideally you should start over.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if it's duplicate things or something, or just side areas that don't really matter, or if it's not ever really lost,
Yep.
I feel kind of better about that.
So Stanley Parable.
Yeah. But Stanley Parable, I don't know that in Dark Souls for me, and Dark Souls and Elden Ring, it's that feeling of exploration and finding areas that I feel are like I'm the first person to find it, like I found a secret. And Stanley Parable is all about that.
Yes.
Like I was telling you, I felt like, I found a secret. Maybe Nick doesn't know about this, but it's like obvious. Like everyone's gone through like all this stuff, but it somehow just makes you feel like you're the first one.
Yes.
To discover this.
It's very clever.
Yeah.
Did you get the one where you go to the nice place where the narrator's happy?
No, what was that?
Okay,
Or
interesting.
maybe what was that ending? How did that?
I think this is if you go through the blue door.
Yeah.
Like he tells you to go through the blue door.
Yeah.
Or red door, whatever. If you follow his instructions
Yeah.
when you get to that point,
Yeah.
he goes to like a place where everybody can be happy, and there's like all these swirling lights and colors.
Man, maybe I just didn't.
And then,
maybe I only went through the wrong door and I didn't go through the right one in that.
Yeah.
I went through
point.
the right one, but shit went weird. I ended up going. So I did one of those endings, and you start going through the correct. You change your mind and do go through the correct one, but if you've done a certain series of things before, you end up in a different storyline where you end up in a repeating thing and just go round and round and round.
Yeah. You stay there, and eventually the door opens up.
I think I just kept running round and round and round. And it eventually like goes off into a thing, and just.
Is it are you talking about the adventure line? Did you find the adventure line?
No.
Oh my goodness, there's so much great content. The adventure line is fantastic. Oh, I'm so excited for you guys to find the adventure line.
I think it was the one where you end up in a room and it shows you the plot on the wall. It tells you which story you're in.
Yep.
And it says what's going to happen kind of thing, but then not other things that aren't that happens.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that rings a bell. Okay, well there is a version. There's an ending where you go into. I'm pretty sure you like basically follow his instructions, and he, or maybe you specifically don't follow his instructions in that area. Anyway, he takes you to a room that is like black, but then all these colors start falling from the sky, and there's like stars spinning around. And it's like real pretty. And he's like, "See, we can just stay here forever and be happy."
Oh, I did get to that.
And then you can walk out of there, and there's like just a set of stairs.
Yeah.
And you can climb to the top of the stairs and jump off. And you jump off, and he's like, "What are you doing, Stanley?" And you're walking more slowly, and he's like, "To go back to the room, Stanley. It's really nice there. We can be happy there." And you can just keep jumping off until you die, and he guilt trips you harder and harder the whole time.
And you've got to keep like jumping off.
Yeah,
I did go there. I just didn't stay in that room at all.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
He was saying he started, I guess, saying that you could stay there and be happy, and I just left like immediately.
Yeah.
But
it was interesting. You can go back to that room, and he says more stuff. He could be like, "See, isn't this better than jumping off the stairs?"
Wow.
That was the one where I felt the worst.
Yeah, that one's rough.
It's real dark.
Wow.
And he's just like, you would really rather die.
You really
than
hate me that much?
Spend more time with me, and you've got to do it like 5 times.
Oh my
and each
God.
time it's slower climbing up these stairs.
Yeah, it's very cleverly constructed.
Damn, that's cool. I never got that at all.
I felt legitimately uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was it through one of those colored doors? Was it through one of the blue or red
I
ones?
think it's if you go the wrong path every time, or maybe you go the wrong
I
path
think
and then the right path.
I think you're right about the going through the blue one.
Because I wonder, like, so if you go through, there's a section where if you go through the wrong door, he basically respawns you back in the room and is like, "No, I said,
Yes.
this door." And I wonder, and you do it again, and then he gives you a third option and stuff.
Door.
And then I wonder if like going through the correct door at specific times in that gives you a different.
I think so.
Yeah. Going through
it's been a while. But
like going through the correct door the first time gives you one thing. Going through the correct door after he's respawned you might give you another thing.
The permutations make
yeah.
I think one there is there's a different outcome.
But it actually is so much. There's so much stuff to keep, so much possibilities to keep track of.
Yes.
That I'm like, where was that? Where was those 2 doors? Like, what was the path to get there? I don't even remember.
Yeah. I remember the very first. So when I got this game, this is back in 2013. I think was when it came out, and I was I did exactly. I hit that exact problem where it's like I ended up redoing endings by accident. That's when I started looking up a guide. Basically. Like here are some things I haven't done.
There's one area that I know. Well, I'll ask you guys this. So when you go the correct way and you get to the boss's thing and you go down the elevator, and you start heading towards that room, there is a sign on the side that says escape. Yes. I did not go that way yet.
I definitely did that once.
You should do that, and then you should definitely do it with Bucket as well.
Oh, interesting.
I can't remember if I did it with the Bucket. I feel like
Bucket is fantastic. I love the Bucket. Okay, well we're pretty much out of time. We've got some questions.
It's so great. There's you've opened up more I thought I'd probably done all the possibilities.
I've done like 80% or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, I must have done.
No,
because like the new content popped up, and I was like, oh, that must mean I've done all the possibilities.
No, there's a lot.
Oh my God,
you haven't even done the adventure line.
That's
which I'm going to request we do after this podcast is over together as a family.
Wow.
So we've got some questions. And if you've got questions, you can email frontseatquestions@gmail.com. Tell us what you thought of the Stanley Parable, and make sure that you title that email Blake Why. So this is, I'm going to read out this one. This is from Aiden Cici. You're sleeping on Doom Eternal. It's got a crazy good core gameplay loop, and the level of difficulty is super tough but fair. Can't recommend it enough. It really revitalized my love of shooters. I think that's probably going to be a watershed game for the genre.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Do you remember we were talking about how like we all knew it was a good game, but like none of us have just maybe I'll put it on my wish list on Steam. So
and hope someone buys it for you. Is that what?
No, it's not an OnlyFans wish list. What are you talking about?
We've all seen your OnlyFans, Blake, and we all disapprove.
I've already put it off too much.
When it goes on sale, it's on my wish list. It'll give me an alert.
I hate those. I won't remove stuff from my wish list, but I'll keep like getting annoyed about the emails.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Times I've got Thief 2 or something on there.
Yeah.
And I've never bought it, and I probably will never buy it.
Right.
But sometimes I see it's available for like $3. I'm like, still not gonna get it.
I'm sure there's stuff I've had on my wish list that when it is cheap enough, like $3 or $5 or something, I'm like, I'll just get it. It's too cheap not to get it.
Yeah.
I can't afford not to get it.
Yeah, but then you have to go through a process.
And then
of
I
buying
basically
it.
don't play it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, at least I've got it.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of games. I've got a lot of games on my Steam list. I've just maybe started once or never even started.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
All right. This is one last question I'll read out. This is from I Predict a Wyatt, which I love that name. Hole up. Is Nick no longer at GGG, or are the roles mentioned sort of like side hustles between leagues? Clarification. I'm no longer at GGG. I left when my baby was born, or just before my baby was born, to be a full-time dad. And then I was offered a job about 9 months later.
And then you left that full-time dad jobs and
Yep. The money was I liked the money offer.
Yeah.
I like money. I missed money.
Getting paid in dirty diapers is just not the same as, as money.
Yeah, so I'm no longer a dad. No, I'm kidding. I'm still a dad. Now I work from home.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sweet, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was in my teens.
Yeah.
I was like, the dream job is to work from home.
Really?
On video games or something related.
Oh my god.
And lo and behold,
you're living it.
Living that dream.
Living that dream.
And let me tell you, I sometimes I miss social interaction.
Well, that's what this podcast's for.
Yep.
This is mostly just therapy for Nick.
It really is.
Intervention.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it's an excuse to talk to other humans. Those are the only two questions I was going to read out. You guys got anything else you want to say before we go?
No.
Play Stanley Parable. We'll probably talk about it some more next time.
Yeah, I'm going to play a bunch more. Like,
yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first I need to finish the DLC. Oh, actually, there's one thing I will mention. At the beginning, it tells you to set the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've done that. I did that the first time. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Second time, it told me to set it, and then even then, before you even start the game, basically the narrator starts telling you like, oh wow, you really enjoy setting the time. Like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yes. I was so glad you found that.
And then he's like, how about this next time? You can just
set your favorite time.
Yeah. And so like, I immediately closed it and reopened it and just set a different time. And he's like, wow, look at you.
Good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So I have a question. That time doesn't mean anything then?
As far as I can tell, no.
Because I wondered like, because I know there's a bunch of clocks in the game.
Yeah, I was wondering that as well.
And they do move. Like I sat there watching one of the clocks and the hand does move.
Yeah. I don't know if it reflects the real world time.
No, it doesn't. It definitely doesn't, because you start and it's always like 11:40, 11:20 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I think it's just for that gag.
It's just for that
But
one
it's a good gag.
Because I was so carefully like setting the correct time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And then he's like, I have no way of knowing if that's even true. But the fact that you said it shows you care.
I know, it's great.
All right. We'll be back in a couple weeks. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for listening. We love you. Bye.
Good. I'm a bit beat up from launch and whatnot, but
Oh yeah, it was yesterday, huh?
yeah. So I was worked late Friday, then up early Saturday. Ended up working most of yesterday.
Shit.
Then
What does a
again
launch
this
day
morning.
look like for you? Is it just a lot of bug fixing?
Yeah, it's all
Oh.
just fixing minor website things that come up, or sometimes not so minor.
So, like from a gameplay standpoint, I totally know what bug fixing looks like, but from a website standpoint, I literally have no idea.
It'll just be like parts of the page breaking or parts of processes of things breaking. As someone goes to like check out a supporter pack, and it turns out that one that we did in the past is causing something else to break, kind of thing.
Interesting.
Mostly purchase stuff or advertising stuff goes
important.
wrong.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some would say
yeah,
it's,
no, we can't get any money for a while.
yeah, some would say it's the most important part of the
The money
entire
tap.
like.
Yeah, don't break the money tap.
Yeah. Without that, we actually can't do any of this. None of this would exist.
And you can't, you don't make that back 1-to-1, right? Like if someone goes to buy something and it doesn't go through, not all of those people will go back and try buying.
Yeah, I know. They might be like, well, fuck it then.
Yeah.
I'm never going to buy anything. Like, they might just, they absolutely.
Or they get distracted, go buy something else. And it's like,
they might alt tab and play Apex Legends instead. And then, and then that
happens all the time.
Lost them.
Did you buy Stanley Parable?
I did. Oh, I forgot I did that.
Oh, no.
I came here thinking I did.
Oh, yes.
But and then I completely forgot about it entirely.
Sweet.
Shit.
Okay.
I just played it very recently, like the other night.
Yeah, you
and
sent me a message. Sent me a screenshot.
I sent you a screenshot because I'm like,
this game's fucking crazy.
It's nuts. I didn't expect it. Oh, well, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about
I feel like it's
How much did you guys play?
I got into the new content.
Okay.
I did a bunch of endings, but I mean, I'm sure there's other endings.
There's a lot.
Actually, I know there's at least 2 endings that I haven't done, or at least 2 paths I haven't done.
Okay.
But I did get to the new content.
Okay.
But I haven't gone through all the new content.
Yeah.
I probably played maybe 3 or 4 hours, I think.
Okay. That's a bunch of endings.
Yeah, I got through a bunch of what seemed like new stuff.
Yeah.
Did a bunch of the old things again. It was like, no, wait, I've done this. I remember it. And then,
Now, we should address now before we start the podcast what we do and don't want to spoil. Because if you don't want stuff spoiled,
well, I haven't finished all the
new content.
I'll tell you. I can tell you where I got up to with the new content,
Sure.
which is really I've only just started.
Yeah.
Basically, I got up to where he was complaining about the reviews. And then I got to where he implemented a skip button.
Yeah.
And I started skipping it, and then I was like, shit, I better get ready for the podcast.
Oh, okay. So you're in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
that is, yeah.
Well,
Have you gone through all that?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
past that by
Okay.
a bit, I think. Because I did a bit of the old content,
Mm-hmm.
then was like, nah, wait, I remember how this works. Then made it to the new content pretty early on.
Okay.
yeah.
I sort of did like the wrong thing once.
I definitely
bit.
did the actual ending.
maybe
lost.
we should talk about this
yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
But it just means we'll have to probably steer clear of a lot of the new content because Blake waited until the very last minute. to play it. Yeah, you had 2 weeks for your assignment, Blake.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you said it's only 4 hours. I was like, that's plenty of time.
Did I say it was only 4 hours?
Yeah. And I was like, that's plenty of time. I got it on, when did I get it? Thursday, I think.
I think you sent me the screenshot on Friday.
Okay, no, I got it on Thursday, started playing it Friday. Played it all through Friday. And then started the new content today.
Well, there might be
struggle. We're going to struggle
might be
to
some
not say
spoilers.
You know what? Just spoil it for me. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Because, man, it's just great. Like I'm happy I've experienced as much as I have.
Good. There's a lot more to it, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about it.
All right.
Okay.
And I'm sure like there's definitely endings I've not seen in the vanilla. So spoil those. It's
Okay.
fine.
Cool. I will.
This was supposed to be the spoiler cast,
Yeah.
so we can't not spoil
We
things.
can't renege on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you just need to bring it up, and then while you're talking, just play through it, and then you're but no one can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
It'd be like one of those game streams, but without any of the game
Quickly
footage.
going through.
Yeah. I like when he's in an office. Computer.